Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of the trailer for Marvel Studios' Werewolf by Night, an MCU Halloween special coming October 7th, unveiled at D23. Now, we're still wondering how this will connect to the MCU, but I don't know, after sightings of Man-Thing and the TVA in this trailer, who knows? This is Feige's sandbox, and What If and I Am Groot kind of connect, so surely this will too. So let's break down this footage frame by frame to explain what this spooky thing is and all the Easter eggs that you missed. Let's get started. Okay, we gotta start here because this is a brand new MCU intro, a Marvel Studios special presentation. At the D23 panel that I attended, Kevin Feige said that this special's director, composer Michael Giacchino, actually cut together this trailer and its music. And Giacchino is actually the guy who composed the Marvel Studios fanfare that we've heard on every MCU title since 2016. Dun, 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 dun. But his music here is some upbeat bongos, which when mixed with the neon colors and the text font is a clear riff on the intros that you would see before TV specials in the 80s and 90s. This intro ends though with a beastly roar over squishy sound. Ooh, we must investigate that sound. I'll be right back!
This Halloween, you can't escape the shock, the terror of Werewolf by Night.
I love it! I can't believe I'm breaking in a trailer like this because I was a kid without a ton of friends who grew up spending my Halloweens alone watching TV specials just like this. It's like I was made for this. So Werewolf by Night is Jack Russell, aka Jacob Rusoff, a lycanthrope with a blood curse from his lineage. Originally an ancestor in the 18th century, tried to kill Dracula but got bitten by Dracula's werewolf. Jacob's father, Gregor, reawakened this blood curse in the 20th century by reading a spell from the Darkhold. Werewolf by Night was a Marvel Spotlight horror character in the 1970s, and actually, Werewolf by Night number 32 was the first comic appearance of Moon Knight. And Moon Knight episode 2 actually included an Easter egg referencing this. The bus was numbered WBN0032, Werewolf by Night number 32. So Giacchino is telling a Werewolf by Night story in the style of horror chillers from the 30s and 40s, which is really the heyday of Universal's horror classics like Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, and The Wolfman. But the wide shot of this location's interesting. It's kind of like an isolated pueblo with some Adobe designs. This might connect with Jack Russell in the MCU being played by a Mexican actor, Gael Garcia Bernal. I love this actor. If you haven't seen Station 11 yet, watch it. But if you look on the outskirts of this town, it just looks like enclosed and surrounded by nothingness, a kind of void. Its architecture looks like a surreal MC Escher labyrinth. It's really perfect for a haunted maze or a laser tag arena, from which there is no exit. But what exactly is this setting in the context of the MCU? I do have a few theories. We'll get to them later, but for now, just know that there is a shadow moving against the wall in the upper right section of this town. There is a monster on the loose in this town. You like monsters, right? Of course you do, you have a pulse. And that's why you should get Monster Legends, a free-to-play mobile game where you can collect over 1,000 monsters and build your own monster empire. Breed your monsters to create a new species, feed them to make them strong, and then go to war against other players to win rewards. And now Monster Legends has something special for fans of The Walking Dead. 6 new monsters inspired by Rick, Daryl, Carol, Michonne, Negan, and Maggie. If you could score Daryl, Maggie, Rick, and Carol as they become available in the game, you'll receive the Negan monster for free. Not enough TWD for you? Master the dungeon and get the indestructible Michonne monster. Start playing now for a limited time and you'll get a special free starter pack with 100,000 gold, 20,000 food, 3 gems, and Mothman. All you gotta do is download the Monster Legends now using the link in the description or the QR code. Laura Donnelly plays Elsa Bloodstone, a Marvel Buffy-style monster hunter introduced in 2001 and often shows up in horror titles. At one point, a member of the Midnight Suns alongside Blade, Man-Thing, and Ghost Rider. The bearded hunter is named Joven, played by actor Kirk Thatcher, who is an ILM creature designer known for cameos in movies like Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, and he plays pretty much the same character in Spider-Man: Homecoming in the MCU, making this his second MCU role. So is this the same guy? Well, if you think back on Homecoming, the guy standing next to him in that scene was Zach Cherry's Do a Flip guy, and he played essentially the same person in Shang-Chi. It would just be awesome if Joven was that boombox guy in Homecoming and he moonlights literally as a monster hunter. Or maybe this guy is a variant of the boombox guy. On to the next clip.
Tonight, it is every hunter for themselves.
Good luck. I'll be rotting for you.
So we meet Verussa, played by Harriet Sansom Harris. The various hunters in the room are all wearing the same badge, including Verussa, as if they're all part of a league of monster hunters. But it sounds like Verussa has called all of these hunters together because one of them has secretly been bitten by a werewolf and she wants to out them. This is pretty much a narrative version of the game Werewolf. Get Andrew Garfield on the guest list!
I'm not the werewolf.
This animatronic zombie is named Ulysses, maybe based on Ulysses Bloodstone, Elsa's monster hunting father. This animatron's appearance and spooky pun feels like an nod to the humor of the Crypt Keeper in Tales from the Crypt. Giacchino said this is gonna be a scary title, but it's also gonna have some humor in the way the movie Poltergeist is kind of a mix of warm-hearted humor and terrifying chills. But at the end of the day, Poltergeist probably one of the scariest movies of all time. Let's move on.
But one of you is a monster, masquerading as one of our own. I can't wait to find out what breed of evil you are.
Verussa conducts this ritual with the skull. While there's this man with the sash, often seen behind her. This is actor Al Haymaker. He's playing a character named Billy Swan. I'm assuming this is a ritual to draw out the werewolf amongst them. But once Jack is revealed as a werewolf, it looks like he attacks, escapes from that cage, and forces the others to hunt him down throughout the town. On to the next clip.
You wanna see this, darling?
So through this cage, Jack is prodded by these armed soldiers that I'm pretty sure are TVA hunters from Loki. So this town could be contained within the void of the TVA. Maybe monster hunters from another reality are kept in this black and white pocket reality that's overseen by the TVA. Because Mobius did mention that they have a nightmare department. In another scene, he says that the TVA has dealt with things like vampires before.
You know, we brought in Kree, Titans, vampires. Why is it the two orphan demigods are such a pain in the ass?
And yet it was your idea to bring in another one.
The black and whiteness of this could be a feature of this pocket dimension, as it is for the Shadow Realm in Thor Love and Thunder. Now, TVA time sticks would not shock him like that, they'd just prune him, right? But maybe they're trying to prune him, like extract this werewolf from this reality, but it is not working. There is one shot of the TVA prodding him in the back, and it's our clearest look of Jack's werewolf form. Clear that they're leaning into the practical costume and makeup approach compared to like VFX, which also just really plays well in this 30s, 40s aesthetic. Onward.
Please don't do this. Death is coming for you!
Werewolf by Night.
So as Joven screams, a Q mark appears in the upper right corner. Now these marks are used to signal projectionists that a film reel is close to its end and it's about time to switch reels. For a 35mm on a 2-reeler, that's about 6 reels total for a 2-hour film. The Q mark is just likely a stylistic thing, like I notice there's a lot of like glitching in the editing in this trailer. But it could be another way that this ties in the TVA. Maybe all of this is playing on the TVA's film projector. Jack gets grabbed by this giant hand through the hedges, and we later see that someone is getting attacked by Man-Thing. Man-Thing! Confirmed in the MCU. It's awesome. So Man-Thing is Dr. Ted Salas, who in the comics works on a team to try to recreate the super soldier serum in the Florida Everglades, but he gets pursued by AIM, and during the escape, he injects himself with the serum and crashes his car in the swamp, where mystical forces cause him to transform into Man-Thing, a plant matter humanoid who senses emotion and gets enraged by fear, and those who feel fear, who touch him, get burned by a fluid that he secretes. That could be what's happening here. Actually, the magic that transformed Man-Thing came from a rift that's deep in that swamp to the nexus of all realities. Yes, my friends, an interdimensional rift to another realm in the multiverse. That rift could have been what led us to this black and white horror pocket reality, actually. I love it. Between the TVA and the nexus of all realities, this whole Werewolf by Night story just looks like it's taking place in another pocket reality of the multiverse of the MCU. One where supernatural, paranormal horror creatures live. And all of this intercuts with a violent, strobe-lit room where Jack in his werewolf form slaughters the TVA agents, even getting their blood on the camera. But what I'm interested in is this room's walls depict some illustrations of beasts from folklore and these Latin phrases. On the left side, you see alienum puto, which roughly translates to I consider it alien, which might be part of a famous quote from the Roman playwright Terence, who said, homo sum humani nil a me alienum puto, which means I am a human being, I consider nothing human alien to me. Which is a phrase that you can interpret in a couple different ways. Really, it means as a human, every other human I see is my brother in a way. But in this context, it applies to things like werewolves. Things that you see as a monster, but it's actually deep down a human like you. Then over on the right wall, you can make out the words vocare ad, which means call to, and then vivat, which means he lives. We don't see all the Latin words yet, so it's hard to get the full context, but it just sounds like these phrases are referring to human nature versus supernatural phenomena that can overtake that human nature. And again, this pocket reality could just be where all supernatural MCU beings are kept in the multiverse. Or I don't know, maybe it's a chapter in the Darkhold that now that the Darkhold has been destroyed, has taken the form of a pocket reality that is bleeding over into our reality. There were even rumors this week that a Blade cameo was planned for Werewolf by Night, but they couldn't line up Mahershala Ali's schedule. But either way, this just gives you an idea of what to expect. All the nightmarish creatures of the MCU could show up here, including Mephisto, or at least Jake the Goat. Get the goat in there. But on to the final clip. Yeah, Elsa looks like she's being used as bait in that cage as the werewolf closes in on her, standing guard, doing nothing. The real freezes on her scream and the celluloid burns on the projector, and this fades in the Disney Plus logo, and I just love the sound of the flipping of a light switch and it turns the color back on. This hour-long special is coming October 7th, and I'm super excited for it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out Monster Legends and start playing today using the link in the description. So follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.